Your brain already chose before you felt the decision. You believe your decisions are conscious, but neuroscience discovered something disturbing. Your brain makes the choice first, and only seconds later, you experience the feeling of deciding. What you call free will may only be awareness arriving late. The terrifying part is that your brain predicts your actions before you consciously know them yourself, meaning your conscious mind may not be in control at all. Right now, as you watch this video, you believe you are in control. You chose to click play. You chose to keep watching. Every thought, every action, every decision, yours. Conscious, deliberate, free. What if none of that is true? In 2008, a team of neuroscientists at the Max Planck Institute in Germany conducted an experiment that quietly shattered one of humanity's most fundamental assumptions. Using a brain scanner called an fMRI, they asked participants to press a button with either their left or right hand whenever they felt like it. Simple enough. But here's what the researchers found. They could predict which hand the participant would choose with up to 60% accuracy. A full 7 seconds before the participant consciously decided anything. 7 seconds. The decision existed in the brain before the person knew they had made it. The lead researcher, neuroscientist John Dylan Haynes, described the finding carefully. The conscious experience of making a decision may be, in his words, just the brain informing itself of a process that has already happened. You don't make the decision, you witness it. You are, in a very real neurological sense, the last one to know. This study didn't emerge in isolation. It built on decades of earlier research, most famously the work of neuroscientist Benjamin Libet in the 1980s. Libet discovered what's now called the readiness potential, a measurable electrical signal in the brain that precedes conscious awareness of a decision by approximately 550 milliseconds. Half a second of neural activity before you think you've decided anything. Libet himself wrestled with the implications for the rest of his career. He proposed that while the brain initiates action unconsciously, consciousness retains a kind of veto power, a brief window in which we can override the impulse. But even that veto, subsequent researchers argued, may itself be unconsciously determined. What does this mean for you? For your choices, your identity, your sense of self? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons. At any given moment, those neurons are firing across hundreds of simultaneous networks, processing sensory input, regulating your heartbeat, managing memory retrieval, predicting future outcomes, running emotional simulations. The vast majority of this processing, neuroscientists estimate 95 to 99%, happens completely outside conscious awareness. Think about that number, 95 to 99%. Your conscious mind, the part you identify as you, the part reading these words right now, is operating on roughly 1 to 5% of your brain's actual activity. The neuroscientist David Eagleman, in his landmark book Incognito, The Secret Lives of the Brain, describes consciousness as the smallest player in the operations of the brain. He uses the metaphor of a vast ocean. Consciousness is the surface, visible and familiar, but the ocean is almost entirely what lies beneath. So what is the unconscious brain actually doing during those 7 seconds before you decide? It is running what researchers call predictive processing. Your brain is not a passive recorder of reality. It is an active prediction machine. At every moment, it is generating models of what is most likely to happen next, what action is most likely to produce reward, what choice best fits the accumulated pattern of every experience you've ever had. By the time you become consciously aware of a choice, your brain has already run thousands of these calculations and arrived at a probable answer. Neuroscientist Carl Friston at University College London describes the brain as fundamentally a Bayesian inference engine, constantly updating its probability models based on new information. Every decision you make draws on an enormous, invisible database. Your childhood, your fears, your traumas, your desires, your cultural conditioning, every conversation you've ever had. None of this is accessible to conscious thought. All of it shapes what you think you're freely choosing. This is why habits are so powerful and so difficult to break. A habit is not laziness or weakness. It is a deeply encoded neural pathway that your predictive brain has flagged as a high-probability, low-effort route to a familiar outcome. Consciously deciding to change a habit means asking your 1% to override the 99%. That's not a discipline problem. That's a neuroscience problem. If your decisions are made before you're aware of them, a disturbing question follows. Who exactly are you? The traditional answer, the one most of us carry implicitly, is that we are our conscious thoughts. We are the inner voice, the deliberate choices, the reasoned opinions. But neuroscience increasingly suggests something far stranger. You are mostly a story your brain tells about itself after the fact. Psychologist Michael Gazzaniga spent decades studying split-brain patients, individuals whose corpus callosum, the bridge connecting the brain's two hemispheres, had been surgically severed to treat epilepsy. What he discovered was extraordinary. When the left hemisphere was shown an image that only the right hemisphere could see, and the patient was asked to explain their behavior in response, the left hemisphere, the language center, the seat of conscious narrative, would immediately invent a plausible explanation. Not admit confusion. Not say, "I don't know." Invent a story. Gazzaniga called the left hemisphere's narrative function the interpreter, a system whose job is to construct coherent explanations for behavior that was actually generated by processes it has no access to. We do not experience the truth of why we do things. We experience a story about why we do things, and we believe the story completely. This extends to memory, which most people imagine as a recording device, but which neuroscience reveals to be something far more unstable. Elizabeth Loftus, the world's leading expert on memory and eyewitness testimony, has demonstrated repeatedly in controlled experiments that human memories are reconstructive, not reproductive. Every time you recall a memory, you are not replaying it, you are rebuilding it. And in the rebuilding, it changes. Subtly, invisibly, but measurably. In one famous experiment, Loftus implanted entirely false memories of being lost in a shopping mall as a child into 25% of adult participants, using nothing more than suggestion and family reinforcement. Those participants not only remembered the event, they added sensory details, emotional texture, narrative arc. The memory felt completely real. It had never happened. Your memories, the foundation of your identity, your sense of continuous self, are partially fictional, constructed, edited in real time by a brain that prioritizes coherence over accuracy. The you that made decisions in the past is, in part, a character your brain has written. At this point, you might be feeling something uncomfortable, a creeping sense that control is an illusion, that you are not the author of your life but a passenger, watching a story unfold that was written somewhere deep in your neural architecture before you ever had a say. But here's where neuroscience offers something genuinely extraordinary. Not false comfort, but hard evidence that the system can be changed. The concept is called neuroplasticity. For most of the 20th century, scientists believed the adult brain was essentially fixed, its structure set, its pathways permanent. We now know this is wrong. The brain reshapes itself continuously in response to experience, attention, and deliberate practice. As neuroscientist Lara Boyd at the University of British Columbia summarizes, the brain changes in three ways: chemically, structurally, and in terms of function. And behavior is the primary driver of all three. The 7-second gap is real. The unconscious decision-making is real. But the inputs to that unconscious system are not fixed. Every deliberate choice you make, every time you consciously redirect attention, practice a new behavior, expose yourself to new information, you are slowly, measurably reshaping the prediction models your unconscious brain runs. You are, in effect, reprogramming the programmer. Mindfulness meditation offers one of the most well-documented tools for this reprogramming. A 2011 Harvard study led by Sarah Lazar found that just 8 weeks of daily mindfulness practice produced measurable increases in cortical thickness in the prefrontal cortex, the region associated with decision-making, self-awareness, and impulse regulation, and measurable reductions in the amygdala, the brain's threat response center. You are not learning to override your unconscious brain. You are learning to change what it contains. Cognitive behavioral therapy works on the same principle, not by giving people willpower, but by systematically exposing and restructuring the unconscious belief patterns that generate automatic thought. The thoughts feel spontaneous. CBT reveals they are learned, and what is learned can be unlearned. So here is the reframe neuroscience offers. Free will may not be what we thought it was. It may not be a moment of pure, uncaused choice floating free of biology and history, but that doesn't mean you are powerless. It means the leverage point is different from where you thought it was. You cannot always control the decision your brain has already made, but you can, with effort, with time, with the right tools, control the brain that makes the decisions. The 7 seconds will always be there. What you put inside them is up to you. So the next time you say, "I made that choice," ask yourself something terrifying. Did you decide, or did your brain decide first?